I want y'all to listen to me. Whatever you do, however you feel, you have to always be authentically you. Whatever your choices are in life, whatever your choices are in relationships, you always have to be authentically you. You can't live in the shadows of what somebody else think they wanted you to be, the shadows of what somebody think of what you should have been. You have to be the best person you need to be for yourself. And parents, sometimes it's tough to accept a child's decision when you think that you have not done all the right things. You can do all the right things. You can give them all the right direction. You can love them in the right way. You can show them the right way to go. But ultimately, when they get to be an adult, they come into their own. They see things differently. No reflection on you is not making your training and your upbringing look bad. But we have to love people where they are. You can't make somebody be something that they don't feel within themselves that they want to be or they should be. And it comes with some things that we have to swallow sometimes. We don't want to swallow because we have to understand when it comes down to our children and the choices that they make, the world will be against them. Family members will be against them. Friends will turn against them. But the people that they need to be dependent on is their parents. Whether you have two-parent household or a single household. Does not reflect your upbringing, does not reflect on your training, but now they have become adults. They see things differently, they feel things differently, and you should be okay with that. They're still your child. Whichever way they decide to go, they are still your child. When kids come into great households, whether the household is two parents and they got everything that they needed, or whether the household was a single household and they still got everything they needed, does not mean that when they grow up they won't hang out with bad company. Does not mean when they grow up they won't make wrong decisions. Does not mean when they grow up they won't take a wrong path. It don't mean that. And even if they do take the wrong path, you've done your job. You've done your job. All you can do is pray for them and be supportive and love them regardless to what decision they make. You can't make them be something that they're not ready to be. All they need is your love. They got enough things against them. They don't need to come to your mother or your father and turn against them. At least they're honest enough to tell you. They feel comfortable enough so you won't hear from nobody else. And hopefully that instead of us reacting, we will think about our actions and we will conduct ourselves accordingly. They still need your love. They're still your child. Either way it go. If they marry in their race, if they marry out of their race, if they marry same sex, if they don't marry same sex, they are still your child. And love is unconditional. And I keep saying this. When it comes down to our love, we have conditions. I don't care how we look at it, how we flip it, we have conditions. But we don't want God's love to have conditions, right? He loves us through fornication. He loves us through adultery. He loves us through lying. He loves us through stealing. He loves us through cheating, manipulation, deception, everything. He loves us through all of that. So if your child is of a dark complexion and they choose somebody lighter, love them. If your child is a woman and she chooses another woman, love them. It's still your child. It's just a sexual preference where we get crossed up at. It does not have anything to do with the person. It doesn't. But we put them in a bad place. We put them in an awkward position where, in a sense, we say we love them in one mouth and we throw them away in another, right? And so if we're going to love people, let's love unconditionally. You didn't make all the right choices, did you? Nope. Your mom and your dad told you not to do some things, and guess what you did? You decided to do them anyway, regardless of what they told you not to do, regardless of the people they told you not to hang around. But we have selective amnesia. And we forget that we was not obedient in every aspect of our life coming up as a kids. But we want our children to be perfect. We want our children to do the right thing. We want our children to do what we say, and we don't act accordingly. How does that work? So if you're going to love your child with every fiber of your being, because it will come a time that maybe that child gets sick, maybe that child passes away, and then all that regret and all that guilt will kick in. Then what you're going to do? You have wasted time. You have wasted energy. You have wasted your anger on something that could have been rectified with a conversation. A lot of things we can solve if we would just sit down and just talk about it. But we won't do that. We won't do that. We won't see it from another person's perspective because we think our way is the right way, and it's not always that way. You can't make nobody be something they don't want to be. Bottom line, you have to be authentically you. That's it, and that's all. Think about it. Let it digest. Let it marinate for a moment. And give me your thoughts.